Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Tiffany. I'm an educator at the St. Louis Zoo. Today's webinar is about observing animal behavior through an app called Observe to Learn. So we're gonna have an interactive webinar today. I'm super excited. But first things first, I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna go over some of our community guidelines. So number one, I will be friendly and respectful of others in my interactions in the chat box. I will use the question and answer box for relevant and appropriate questions. I will use the chat box to respond and interact in regards to the webinar topic. And I understand that if the moderator of the webinar has asked me to alter my behavior, I may actually be removed. So before we get started, go ahead and find your chat box and let me know where you are zooming in from today and how many people are watching with you. Also, make sure you know where the question and answer box is. If you have questions for me, you can put those in the Q&A and I will answer those at the end of today's webinar. We do have a tech person behind the scenes today. That is Connor. Thank you so much, Connor, for all of your hard work. And he's going to be monitoring the chat and helping me out today. At the end, we're going to do a quick enjoyment feedback poll. So if you would take just a moment at the end to do that, we would really appreciate it. Okay, so let's get started talking about animal behavior. Now, I had to show pictures of my favorite animal at the St. Louis Zoo. So this is Joe the gorilla, and these are all pictures that I took of him. And I think he's really, really interesting to watch. And when I have time watching the gorillas and how they interact and watch their behaviors, that's my favorite animal to do behavior observations on. So what is animal behavior? Go ahead and type it in the chat box if you think you know what animal behavior is. So I can't see my chat box at the moment, but we're going to be going there really, really quickly. So if you didn't know already, animal behavior is basically anything an animal does. Oh, awesome. I can see my chat. Okay, we have, first I want to see where everybody's coming from. Chesterfield, Kirkwood, St. Charles, St. Louis, awesome. Okay, so something an animal does, how they act, instincts, yeah, all those are correct. Everything an animal does is a behavior, and they're gonna do those behaviors for different reasons. It could be communication, it could be to get food, to survive by staying safe in their habitat. So when we observe animal behavior, we know there's usually a reason behind everything an animal does, and it's really interesting to try to figure out why. Okay, so ethology is the study of animal behavior. So if you caught our animal behavior webinar like a week or two ago, then you already have a good background on this, which is excellent. So this is the study of animal behavior, and why is it important? So type in the chat box, why do you think that anyone should care about animal behavior? How could it be important? I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to talk about that. I saw somebody said to learn about animals. Excellent. So the more we can observe their behavior, it's gaining a source of knowledge to learn about them. Awesome. So we can learn more about them. Excellent. And if I'm a zookeeper, why do you think it's important to study animal behavior as a zookeeper? Because that's really, really important, and a very important part of every zookeeper's daily routine is to look at their animal behavior. So I saw someone else said, understand why they do things, how to take care of them, if they are sick or unwell. Excellent. That's a great example. So if you know your animal's normal behavior that you're watching or that you care for, and they start to act different, maybe they're not eating as much, maybe they're not playing with their favorite enrichment. If something is new or different, it can mean something. Sometimes it could mean that the animal's sick, but it's really important to understand animal behavior. So for those of you who have pets at home, think for a second about how your animals can communicate by their behavior to tell you what they need. So we know when we have a pet, we have to be responsible for taking care of animals. And there's so many different ways that they can let us know, if we pay attention to their behavior, things that they need. So type into the chat box if you have any examples of that. I'll give you an example of one of mine. So I have a bearded dragon. His name is Bosk. And one thing that I notice he does if he's hungry is he becomes more alert and he kind of looks around a little bit and he goes like this. And he sticks out his tongue. So that's a behavior that I know means that he's hungry. So other animal behaviors for pets that we notice, maybe a dog has to go outside and go to the bathroom. Different dogs have different behaviors for that. Some might just come stare at you. Some might go to the door and ring a bell. Some might bark at the door. Those are all behaviors saying, hey, I need to go outside and go potty. They're telling you what they need by communicating through behavior. Somebody said their cat sits by their food bowl. That's another great example. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be doing 2 live interactive animal behavior studies together. And I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can do that. So one is going to be through an app, and I'm going to be using this iPad today, and it's going to be called Observe to Learn. That is an app created by the Lincoln Park Zoo. So if you have it, get it ready. If you do not have that app already downloaded, it's okay. Because the other thing you can do is just grab a paper and pen and make your observations that way. We're going to try 2 different ones. I will walk you through all of it and we can go over our results together. Okay, so I'm going to have Connor pull up a poll to kind of let me know what you guys are going to be doing today, because that'll help me help you. So if you are going to be using the Observe to Learn app, please put that. Or if you're using paper and pen, or maybe you just want to sit and watch, and that's totally fine too. So go ahead and submit and let me know what you're going to be doing today so I can better help you. Okay, looks like a little bit of everything. We'll go ahead and stop the poll. Okay, so we got 20% of you using the Observe to Learn app, about 40% paper and pen, and about 40% just watching along. Okay, sounds good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share I'm going to show you a few things you can do on our website. So this is our website, STLZOOM.org. One thing I wanted to show you, if you scroll down, is this STLZOOM link right here. This is where you can go and find all of our webinars scheduled for the week. So you can go on here, see here's the one we're in right now. It shows you the ones for the rest of the week, and it has all their registration links. It also has previous ones that we've done. On our YouTube channel, on ZooTube, we also have all of the webinars on a playlist there if you'd like to go back and watch any of them. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is we also have right next to the STLZOOM live webcams. So I'm going to click on our live webcams. The penguin webcam is going all the time, so that one's always going. But what's new and exciting is that we have rotating webcams. So this shows you the schedule right here. So today is Tuesday, which means we have the grizzly bears at Centene Ridge. So you can click watch live, and we're actually going to do that in just a moment because we are going to do our first animal behavior observation. So if you have the app, go ahead and get it open. If you have paper and pen, here is what I want you to do. All you have to do is write down feeding, active, inactive, and other. So feeding, active, inactive, and other. Because what you're going to do as we do the behavior is when I tell you to mark down the observation you see, you're just going to put a little tally or a check mark next to that behavior. Okay, for those of you who are using the Observe to Learn app. Now, when you open the Observe to Learn app, it should look like this. Welcome to Observe to Learn. And then you see 2 boxes right here. We see Find Out More. That is an area where you can look and watch videos of animal behavior and learn more about animal behavior. I'll let you do that later on your own time, because right now we are going to hit Collect Data. So when we hit Collect Data, it takes us to this screen. And on here we see, take a minute to practice and collect your data. We are going to click on take a minute to practice. Okay, then it should pull up this right here. Now, when we're doing an animal behavior study, we are going to pick one animal to look at. That's called a focal study, so that your data stays the same. You're recording all the observations that you see for that animal at the same time. So I'm going to pull up our Grizzly Bear webcam in just a minute. For those of you that are using the Observe to Learn app, you're going to see that on the left side are all the behaviors that you can look for. So we have feeding, social, self-grooming, active, inactive, not visible, and others. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pull up the Grizzly Bear webcam. We are going to pick what, hopefully we'll see the bears. If not, we might have to try out the penguin webcam, but the bears are usually pretty active and they're really excited that people are back at the zoo. So when we get on there, whether you're doing it on paper or the app, everybody pick which bear you would like to study their behavior of. I'll hit 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to hit start. And so if you're doing this at home, you can try to hit start at the same time. If the times are off, that's okay. And then for those of you working on paper, I will let you know every 15 seconds to mark down what behavior you see right then. So we'll have 4 observations every 15 seconds for 1 minute. Okay, so let me share my screen again. We will go back to the live webcams. And I'm really excited to see if they're doing stuff. Let's find out. Let's go to, we're gonna hit watch live and that'll pull up the daily one. Taking just a second. Oh, well, guess what we see? It looks like we see a keeper in there right now. And he is getting everything. He's probably cleaning. So it's really cool. I wanna mention this since we can see this. Our animals at the zoo have indoor and outdoor homes. So for example, our keeper is not going to be in the same area with a grizzly bear because they're large and they could be dangerous. They're not going to share space. So if he's outside moving enrichment and cleaning up their habitat and making it super awesome for them, that means that the grizzly bears are in the back behind the scenes right now. So let's go to our penguin webcam and check that out. This live stream recording is not available. Okay. We're just gonna do 2 examples, our samples, with the animal that I have as a surprise guest. So I actually have one of my pets with me and it is a hamster. Her name is Lilo. So we are going to practice our animal behavior study with her. I saw what is the keeper doing. So it looked like he had different items of enrichment. And what enrichment is it is a variety of things. It can be toys, food, smells, the way their habitat is built. It's going to promote natural behaviors, the kind of behaviors that animals would show in the wild. It helps them make choices and stimulates them mentally. So enrichment is really, really important for our keepers to put out every single day for the animals. And that's probably what he was doing. He might have been cleaning up, putting some new enrichment out, maybe moving it around. And that's going to be a huge part of their day, is making sure the animals have excellent enrichment. Okay, so since we can't see the grizzly bears and we can't see the penguins, that's okay because that happens in the wild. Imagine if you were a scientist and you were trying to study animal behavior in the wild. That can be really tricky. And so just for us, that's why, especially you might have seen on the Observe to Learn app, one of the choices is not visible. Because you might be watching an animal that you can see and then suddenly it goes behind a tree or it goes somewhere where you can't see. So, okay, we are going to take a minute to practice. Now it's going to take me just a second to get Lilo set up. Her name is Lilo. She is a rescue hamster and I'm going to put her up here and I'm going to kind of move off screen, but you're still going to be able to hear me and I will walk you through all of this as we go. I'm so excited. Everybody should be able to see little Miss Lilo. Okay, so for those of you who have the Observe to Learn app, I'm going to do this also. So on the count of 3, we're going to hit start. Now, for those of you at home, you also might hear this beep, and that means that it's 15 seconds, but I'm still going to tell everybody, okay, it is time to record your behavior. So on the count of 3, we are going to hit start. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so our time is going. And at 15 seconds, I will let you know to record your behavior. So if you're using the Observe to Learn app for the first time, you're just going to press what looks like a button of the behavior you see. Okay, there's our 15 seconds. Go ahead and click what you see. And if you are at home on the paper and pen doing that instead, just write down what you saw with your tally mark. There's our next one, 30 seconds. Record your behavior observation now. Next one coming up. Here we go, 45 seconds. Record your observation now. And we're going to have one more. Here it comes. Here we go. There's our last one. Record your observation. Okay, so now what you're going to see is a pop-up that says end study. So I'm going to move her back for just a second so I can show you what we're doing on the tablet. Okay, so I saw some people say, well, she's really cute. And oh, hi, golf family. They said we ran out of Timothy hay for our guinea pigs, so we're getting some today. So if you have the tablet and there's a little pop-up that says press yes to end your study, go ahead and hit yes. Now, I accidentally didn't hit it in time, so mine's a little off, but it'll graph all of your data for you and put it into a graph. So I think she was feeding the whole time. What did you guys see? Was she active? Was she feeding? What was she doing? What did you observe? I saw that she was active, 100% feeding. So I did put some fresh food in there. And we're going to do this again in a minute and see if she is still eating or if she's moved on to other things. Because I did also just put her wheel back in there to kind of, you know, make it new and exciting for her. It's usually in there all the time. But I just wanted to do that to see if she's super food motivated and interested in food, or if she's going to decide to use her wheel. So we're going to find out. Okay, so we have, if you did the tablet, you should have a graph of your behaviors. Now we're going to do the real study. For those of you at home that have your feeding, active, inactive, and other, just make another column so that you can start your new study and put your new observations. Okay, so this is kind of the tricky part, but it is okay once you get used to it. On the bottom left of your screen, you're going to see the home button. So go ahead and click on home. And remember, this brings us back to our find out more and collect data. We are going to click on collect data again. But this time, instead of take a minute to practice, we are going to hit the one on the right that says collect your data. Now, this brings us to a screen. It looks a little scary at first, but I'm going to walk you through it, and I promise that it's super easy. So this is what you should see. And we're going to walk through this together. So top left, it says name. So you can put your name. So my name's Tiffany. I'm going to put Tiffany. And then the next one says species. And you can also write this stuff down on your paper too if you want to write down all the data. So for species, it's a hamster. We're going to put hamster. It's actually a dwarf Campbell's hamster, but it's easier to write hamster. For location, I think we should put webinar because this is the first time we have ever done this. We've taught this in classes at the zoo before. This is the first time we've ever done this through a webinar. So this is really exciting. So I'm going to show you this all too when I'm done. Below location, you should see indoor or outdoor. You're going to click indoor. And then for area, it says home, zoo and aquarium, urban, suburban, home, because she is sitting inside my home. On the top right, but let me show you what I have so far. Okay, so we're going to go to the top right. It says study duration. So this is how long our study is going to be. And this is options that you'll have when you do this at any time. So there's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We're going to choose the shortest one, which is 5 minutes, but we're not going to do a full 5 minutes. I'll probably have us end it a little bit sooner than that. For study interval, let's do every 15 seconds. Since that's the one that we practiced, let's do that again. So every 15 seconds, it will beep and remind us that's when we're recording the observation that we see at that exact moment. Okay, so on my tablet, on my iPad, I'm actually going to have to clear my keyboard so I can see this down here where it says choose ethogram. So I'm going to hit choose ethogram, and I'm going to hit one that says basic. You should have an option for basic. Anybody have any questions so far? If you have questions right now, you can put them in the chat box because this is right now and I can see it and help you through it. So remember, we have put our name in for name, hamster for species, webinar for location, indoor, home, 5-minute study duration, 15-second interval, and 5-second behavior. Okay, someone said, can you share the link for the app? I'll let Connor do that and put the link in. Okay, so then I hit choose ethogram. I put basic. Now on the top right up here, it's gonna say begin study. So go ahead and click that. Now it won't start right as we hit it, but hit begin study. And then it even has instructions on here. So if you forget and you're using this later, you wanna try it out at home, it says, number 1, pick the one animal you will watch, stick with that animal and don't switch. Then touch the start button. When the buttons turn green and the timer beeps, choose the behavior you see at that moment. Continue observing and recording until the session is over. Be quick, you have a limited amount of time to record the behavior. And I was a great example of that because the first time I was trying to see what she was doing and I actually didn't hit it soon enough. So it didn't get that I saw feeding the whole time. So I'm just gonna hit okay. So now this is our screen that we see. So we're gonna get ready to hit start in just a second. So it's ready and it's set up. I am gonna get Lilo back up here and we are gonna see if she has moved on to other things or what she is doing. I'm so excited to find out. There we go. Okay, I think everybody can get a good view of her now. So if you have your tablet or your pen and paper, get ready. On the count of 3, we're gonna hit start. 1, 2, 3. Remember, every 15 seconds, I will remind you to record the observation that you see. Our first one's coming up. Get ready. There we go. Go ahead and put your first thing that you see. There you go. Record your observation. Next one's coming up. Get ready. I'm going to put other because I don't see her. Next one's coming up. Get ready to record your observation. And we're going to do a few more observations and then I will let you know when we're going to end our study. We're not going to do the full 5 minutes. That's a little too long for a webinar. Okay, get ready. Record your observation. And it looks like maybe she's getting a little sleepy. Okay, here's another one. Okay, and we are going to do 2 more. So we're going to get to 2 minutes, and then after that, we're going to end our study. Okay, get ready. Go ahead and record that observation. And then we'll have 1 more. We're going to end our study and look over our results together. Okay, last one. Here we go. There you go. Now on the top right of your tablet, you can hit End Study. And it'll say, are you sure you are ready to end your study? Go ahead and hit yes. Okay, I'm going to move her down here again. Okay, so go ahead and put in what you saw her do. And I'll show you my results. So I have, and I'm going to show you the graph. It says 75% other. So that means that that's what I chose for not visible because I couldn't see her. She went down and buried herself in her bedding and she's probably getting ready to take a nap. And then I had 25% active. From my angle, it was kind of hard to see, so she actually might have still been eating. But here's what my graph looks like. And what's cool, since we did the real study this time, is it has all of the data. Make sure you can see that. It has all of our data that we typed in up top above it. So did you guys see a lot of the same thing? Sniffing a lot, but out of view too. Nothing, inactive. Yeah, so that happens in animals in the wild. It happens at the zoo. So what's really cool about observing animal behavior is, like we said, it helps keepers take care of the animals. It helps us learn more about them. It also helps with wildlife conservation. The more we can study an animal's behavior in the wild and what they need, and maybe human and wildlife conflicts, that helps us know how we can better help them, especially for the endangered animals that need a lot of help from us. So animal behavior is super important, and I think it's really fun to do. So whether you use the Observe to Learn app that is free, or you use paper and pen, which is totally fine too, there's so many ways you can do behavior observations. So you can use it at your home if you have a pet and you'd like to do behavior observations on your pets. You can do it outside, backyard, the park, if you go hiking and you want to do animals. An animal I recommend would be squirrels, because they're everywhere. So no matter pretty much wherever you go, you're going to see squirrels. And since we have been working from home, my office is actually out in our sunroom, and I am seeing all kinds of squirrels and birds, and I see them every day. So I get to see a lot of their behavior, and it's stuff that I never would have seen if we wouldn't have been working from home. So it's been really interesting for me to see some of the behavior from the squirrels in my yard. We have a large tree that has 3 nests in it. So that is one thing that you can do. You can also come to the zoo and do an animal behavior observation. So you can do that by paper and pen. You can do that by this. And when you come to the zoo, you want to make sure you go to STLZOO.org. That is going to have the most information. And I see my mask fell down, but you're going to see a lot of zoo employees wearing this mask. And that's because everybody is going to be required to wear masks. And you can have a free reservation, so just go online. We are still limiting the amount of people that can be at the zoo to keep everybody safe. But it's super easy to go on STLZOO.org and reserve your free reservation so you can go back and see the zoo animals. So if we're going to go ahead and do our enjoyment poll if you liked today's webinar, and then I'm going to go to questions and answers if you guys have any questions and answers today. So go ahead and fill that out for me real quick and pick that. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to see if we have any questions and answers. So we have just about 1 minute left. So if you have any questions, make sure to get those in now. So the Observe to Learn app, again, is free, and it was created by Lincoln Park Zoo. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So that will be it for us today. Thank you so much for joining me. We hope to see you at the zoo again soon. Take care and stay healthy. Bye, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.